the sky. No one and no alibi. Lies burning hotter than the sun. Fake prophets cashing in the dream, selling hope through a broken beam. What's the truth? Where's it gone? The dark echoes of a question mark. Why'd they lie? Why'd they run? Signals lost in static screen.
All right. Now we're here. Now we're live for the third time for me. That was weird. Yeah. That's the first time that's happened in years, so it is what it is. And I don't know. I restarted. That was the logical choice. I didn't want to hem and haw. That has always worked. Thank you, WAF. I know it was the Men in Black. We're not supposed to say that out loud. I said so many good things, too. But what's up? I appreciate you guys coming in. It really was. I had some good stuff I said. I was really proud. I said it all smoothly. It was good. It was jovial. I was in the mood. Now I'm a little stressed. But I didn't get too upset because I knew it was going to work. I just need my peeps to just let it go. Let it go. Let yourself go. Slow and low. That is the temp. And what you see is what you get. And you ain't seen Goof on yet. Tonight we're going to talk about, in a way, I just put it up there for something to say, but when that big UFO doesn't show up in 2027, what will the so-called experts have as an excuse? Well, we didn't know. We've never seen anything like this before. We didn't know it was just a rock. You knew it was a rock. But you were calling it an intelligent rock. I mean, can that be real? All right. Well, because we're a little behind schedule, I'm going to forget about the intros. I know everybody. I want to say hi to everybody. Thank you very much for hanging out tonight here at Goof On, Giordano's UFO Network, or greatest UFO network. I think so. Pound for pound, because, anyway, I'm pulling up some stuff we need to talk about. So, Oumuamua. Do you remember that in 2017? It came in from interstellar space. First time we've ever captured anything like that. Now they're a dime a dozen, it seems. All of a sudden, now we can spot them. Well, it's apparently changed course in a manner not explained by conventional physics, they say. Tracking stations around several nations, they've spotted uncharacteristic movement. Uncharacteristic movement from the part of space where Oumuamua was last known to be drifting. Based on initial data, the object, or something very much like an object, has apparently reversed direction and is re-entering the solar system, heading on a path that takes it directly toward Earth's general area. One source who wished to remain anonymous said, "We've never seen anything like this. If it's natural, it breaks all our models. If it's not, we need to start asking harder questions about what's really out there." You should be asking that question anyway, right? Stupid. Tristan Ludlow says, Oumuamua just turned back and confirms what we all feared. Did anybody fear anything from Oumuamua? No. I'm pulling up that story. I want to see what they're saying. CNN saying it's terrifying. Dude, this is the left, leaning left. Listen to what they're saying as opposed to what reality is. How can this be terrifying? Why are they fear-mongering? Terrifying for what reason? Oh, we'll find out. Oh, let me pull it up. I didn't think I was going to talk about this. This just happened. Well, I'll show you the article. There's a close that. All right. Let me see if I'm in there. Let me switch this around. There we go. Now, put me on the outside. There we go. Back into the main frame. No, the main frame. Okay. Can you read? In a stunning turn of events that sounds like something out of a sci-fi thriller, Oumuamua, the enigmatic interstellar object that stumped scientists in 2017, has apparently changed direction. You know, this is from July 15th, by the way. I just wanted to let you know it's a 2-week-old story. But it apparently changed course in a manner not explained by conventional physics. This strange change has reignited speculation, sparked worldwide intrigue, and yes, confirmed what many of us suspected all along. We might not be alone. We know what Oumuamua is. We don't need another reminder. So the shocking development, it's a course reversal, they're saying. Now, in mid-2025, tracking stations around several nations have spotted uncharacteristic movement from the part of space where Oumuamua was last known to be drifting. Based on initial data, the object, or something very much like an object, has apparently reversed direction and is re-entering the solar system, heading on a path that takes it directly toward, Earth's general area. Yep, you read it correctly. This is not typical behavior for a lump of inert rock. Even comets, hurtled about the sun, travel in predictable gravitational curves. Oumuamua, though, broke those rules previously, and it seems to be doing so again. And what could it mean? Well, there are some possible explanations. Natural but not understood physics. Others contend that what we are seeing might be a natural occurrence that we just don't yet comprehend. Maybe some new type of interstellar object with gas-releasing properties or odd reflective surfaces. Technological origin? Well, the much more radical theory, the one picking up steam in internet forums and rumored among certain astronomers, is that Oumuamua is not an asteroid at all. And that could be a man-made structure. That it could be a man-made structure? Perhaps an exploration probe, or worse, a guard. Intelligent control. Semicolon. The fact that it's heading back our way? That's what scares me the most. Gravity doesn't do it. Rocks don't do it. Someone or something might be flying it. What are officials saying, my peeps? Not much, which in itself is suspicious, though space agencies such as NASA and the European Space Agency have confirmed monitoring unusual activity. They avoided giving out any theories or conclusions thus far. Leaked memos and internal documents, however, indicate close behind-the-scenes action. One source who wished to remain anonymous said, "We've never seen anything like this. If it's natural, it breaks all our models. If it's not, we need to start asking harder questions about what's really out there." So, the big question, should we be worried? That depends on your point of view. If you think we're alone in the universe, then this is probably just another cosmic enigma. Strange, but explicable. If you've always thought we're not alone, well, then this could be the moment we've been waiting for or fearing. The fear people feel now is not just about aliens, it's about the unknown. It's the fear of knowing that we may be not the most, what does that say? Evolved life form in the universe. That perhaps, just perhaps, we've already been discovered. And if that's true, the question then changes from what is a Muamua to something much more disturbing. Why is it returning? Wow. 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 Hey, John Stokes. Wow. Views. What's this? Goof on Miami Live 2025 at 20,000 subs. I don't understand what you're saying. Riccoloni up? I don't know what that means. Goof on Miami Live 2025 at 20,000 subs. Riccoloni. I don't know what that means, bro. Can you please explain that? Thank you very much for the $2 we always round up here at Goof On. But that's right. By the way, help support Truthology for Ufology. Damn it. Super Chat, Super Sticker, PayPal, Cash App. All the links are in the show. Oh, they're not in this show description. I didn't put them in there yet. Well, they're on the homepage of Goof On. You guys know what to do. There it is. Booyah. I don't know what that means. Billy McAllen says, hopefully it's start of Starship's Trooper invasion scenario. Please let it be. Dude, that would be so much better than World War III. Wouldn't it? I'm looking to see if Views is giving me an answer. Moody Mongol says, I bet all their anonymous, as I bet it's Fakey McFakey story. I can't find any reference to Oumuamua returning. You sure it's a legit site and not some new age thing? I'll take a look. It is from Science and Nature, sponsored by Fox. So it's legit. It's a 2-week-old story. But we didn't talk about it. So I thought maybe we should. It's not a fake story. Is it? I don't know. But it's out there. And whether it's disinfo, misinfo, or the wrong info, I have to tell you what they're showing. I mean, this is how they do it. What's that? No invasions? I don't know what you mean, my bro. I don't know what I was going to say. My guy? I don't know. Thank you, though. I don't know. Hey, Marcel. Cindy Crow. I don't know, man. But I didn't see it as being a fake story, if that's what we're getting to. It's weird. It's out there, and it's all over. Everybody's talking about it. Well, you want to talk about fake and real? You want to get into that? Check this out. In 1934, let me show you the story. You're not going to believe this. You're gonna laugh. You have to laugh at this story that's about to be shown to you. Like, how could this even be a thing? In 1934, the LA Times reported they found a reptilian underground base. Lizard people's Catacomb city hunted. Engineers sinks shaft. If you look this here, lizard people's Catacomb city hunted. Engineer sinks shaft under Fort Moore Hill to find maze of tunnels and priceless treasures of legendary inhabitants. Busy Los Angeles, although little realizing it in the hustle and bustle of modern existence, stands above, stands above a lost city of catacombs filled with incalculable treasure and imperishable records of a race of humans further advanced intellectually and scientifically than even the highest type of present-day peoples, in the belief of G. Warren Schufelt, geophysical mining engineer now engaged in an attempt to wrest from the lost city deep in the earth below Fort Moore Hill the secrets of the lizard people of legendary fame in the medicine lodges of the American Indian. So firmly does Schufelt and a little staff of assistants believe that a maze of catacombs and priceless golden tablets are to be found beneath downtown LA, that the engineer and his guy aides have already driven a shaft 250 feet into the ground. The mouth of the shaft being on the old Banning property on North Hill Street overlooking Sunset Boulevard, Spring Street, and North Broadway. And so convinced is the engineer of the infallibility of the radio X-ray perfected by him for detecting the presence of minerals and tunnels below the surface of the ground, an apparatus with which he says has traced a pattern of catacombs and vaults forming a lost city, that he plans to continue sending his shaft downward until he has reached the depth of 1,000 feet before discontinuing operations. Yo! Then it goes up here, Legend Supply Group, up. I knew I was over a pattern of tunnels, the engineer explained yesterday, and I had mapped out the course of tunnels, the position of large rooms scattered along the tunnel route, as well as the position of deposits of gold, but I couldn't understand the meaning of it. Whoa. Fucking gold and shit. Then Schufelt was taken to Little Chief Greenleaf on the medicine lodge of the Hopi Indians in Arizona, whose English name is El Macklin. The Indian provided the engineer with a legend which, according to both men, dovetails exactly what Schufelt says he has found. Fire destroys all. According to the legend as imparted to Schufelt by Macklin, the people after the great catastrophe which occurred about 5,000 years ago, this legendary catastrophe was in the form of a huge tongue of fire which came out of the southwest, destroying all life in its path. And the story stops there. That's all I have. Dude, what in the hell do we believe? Listen to that. What does that story remind you of? The guy who offed himself. What was his name? The guy who got the fingers shot off. Yeah, that guy. What's his name? Well, I can't remember his name for the life of me. You guys know. The guy, they dug into the hole to the dumb, and they had an all-out shootout with aliens. What was that guy's name? Phil Schneider. Thank you, Chicken Coop. God, I can never remember. From day one, I can't remember his name for some reason. It's like the universe is trying to erase that out of my mind forever. Thank you for being there. So yeah, Phil Schneider had his experience. This sounds like it happened before Schneider in 34. It's 90 years ago, man. This is unreal. Time is just ticking away. And we have no answers. That's amazing if that's a real story. Whatever happened to it? Exactly. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I just wanted to read that. I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was cool. So, okay. And now back to I gotta bring up the fear mongering that they're doing. World News X showed breaking news: 12-mile wide interstellar object enters our solar system. So this was posted yesterday, and it's a minute long, but it talks about the shocking facts, explained what this object is, and guess who's at the yep, you guessed it, Avi earlobe. That's right, Avi snow globe, because he's a little bit out there. Hey, can we get that back in the boop?
Because we can't
Too low. Where's the volume button? That's way up, guys. You're gonna have to turn your volume up.
launch any rocket from Earth that would intercept this object. It's moving too fast relative to Earth in the opposite direction of the motion of Earth around the sun.
You wrote that if this three-eye atlas is a technological artifact, it could be evidence of the dark forest hypothesis. What is that?
That's one of the solutions to Fermi's paradox, which is the question, where is everybody? And of course, it's possible that aliens are out there, but they are worried about predators, and therefore they are silent, as if they are in a dark forest. And if they see a civilization like ours, a young technological civilization that gets more powerful over time, and they are listening to us.
So Avi Loeb is saying they're listening to us. They know what we're doing. Here's my thing. He says it's like they're in a forest, a dark forest of trees. You can't see anything. They could be 2 feet in front of you. Yet, douchebag, do we not see? Do we not see it? We're not blind, dill hole. Avi, don't know Loeb.
They might send a probe or a spacecraft on a reconnaissance mission, or
he says they might send a probe or a spacecraft on a reconnaissance mission
with some other goals.
And
we should be ready for that.
And we should be ready for that.
Monitor the sky and be aware of that potential possibility.
We need to be aware of that potential possibility. Okay, I think we heard that clip before, about a day or two ago. It was very low. It's annoying. I know, I'm sorry. Let's get rid of that. So, okay. Moving on. I think it's fun. I think it's really cool that we have some action happening in interstellar space. I think this is outstanding. Something we've never seen before. Well, the astronomers, scientists have never seen anything like it. This is fun. This is amazing. And it kind of sounds like this thing may be intelligent. And if it is, I think we need to be worried. Why would a Muamua turn around? I'll tell you why. It made a pass. It did its reconnaissance. Maybe it's coming back to do another pass. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's coming to, to terminate us. It could be the end of days. The World War III is not World War III. It's War of the Worlds. Coming. We could be in the throes of World War III or the War of the Worlds. Think about where we are in history right now. Did you know those two statements are true? We're close to World War III, and according to the news that we're seeing and hearing, and we could be close to an all-out War of the Worlds with the aliens. If they're hostile, fucking hostile. Pantera. All right. Okay. So we all know Rose Cuckold, Ross Coulthart. This guy, all he cares about, it's sad because he seems like a fun guy, right? Like he'd be cool to hang out with maybe. He's probably got a million stories, but He'll do anything for the story, for the head. He's a headline hunter. You know, they used to call these people what? Ambulance chasers. He's kind of like that. So in the UFO field, see, he doesn't have to do a lot of research or get any facts because that's news. News is fake now. We don't trust anybody or anyone, at least I don't, that's going on the TV, especially about UFOs and aliens. I'm not going to believe a word anybody's saying. Anybody that I don't believe in anyway, and that's mostly everybody. But he is really excited talking about the 1,000 or however 100,000 mirror-like objects in space that may be indicating artificial non-human technology. And, all these things that are around Earth that we've been talking about on and off for a week. So he's really excited about Dr. Beatrice's Villarreal's latest preprint paper, now in peer review, revealing lines of over 100,000 specular? S-P-E-C-U. Maybe it's supposed to be spectacular. Specular. Mirror-like objects in space that may indicate artificial intelligence. Well, this is part of that interview, and I want to see. I want to hear her if this is what I think it is. Hold on. Why isn't it? It is. Okay. This is really interesting because look, think about where we are in history right now. What did we just get done talking about? The possibility we could be in the throes of World War III, War of the Worlds with aliens coming here, Oumuamua now returning, and this so-called shield, whatever the hell this thing is, that's covering the Earth. Like, I don't understand how this is happening without anybody knowing anything ever. And now all of a sudden, with all this, the airplanes we had flying way up 100,000 feet, 80,000 feet. But do you remember that video of the rocket that was shot and it hit something like the firmament and it stopped in its tracks? Remember that? So maybe there is something up there. God almighty, what a weird world we live in. And me and my ex-wife saw the line, the grids. This is crazy. We saw that 21 years ago. God, I love where we are. This is getting exciting. And this is amazing. Shut up and play it.
Peer review.
Okay, I am really excited by Dr. Beatrice Villarreal's paper. It is absolutely extraordinary. She's released it as a preprint while it's still in peer review, and I'm happy to announce that we will shortly be interviewing Beatrice when she, unfortunately, she's got flu at the moment, and we wish her the very best. But when she has recovered, we will be bringing you the first interview with her where we get the opportunity to talk to her in detail about the findings that she's made. As viewers of Reality Check would know, we've previously interviewed Dr. Villarreal about her discovery of so-called transients. It's a really clever idea. It's one of those really nifty scientific ideas, which is to look at pre-1957, so pre-human satellites or rockets in space, pre-1957, pre-Sputnik. What did the glass photographic plates show? And the data set that she's been using is the Palomar Observatory data set. And she's looking at photographs in the original interview we did. She looked at photographs around, particularly, for example, the 1952 Washington, D.C. UFO wave, when we know there were vast numbers of strange, anomalous objects witnessed by the military, radar operators, and civilians, and a whole variety of people over Washington, D.C. They didn't land on the White House lawn, but they sure as hell put on a show. And what Beatrice discovered, we reported on this about 10 months ago, is that there were objects in space, in orbit, that were in orbit on the exact dates of the period in, I think it was June, July of 1952 when this flyover occurred, and they disappeared shortly thereafter. Something was in geosynchronous orbit or around or thereabouts. Now, what Beatrice has now done in the paper that she's just published, she's basically looked at transients again, and she's narrowed down transients that appear in apparent lines. And what she's discovered is just extraordinary. I'm very excited to talk to her.
That's cool. That's really interesting if you think about it. Something nobody's ever found before, and this could be showing. Oh my God, I doubt. I mean, I don't. It doesn't. How can it make sense? But in my mind, I know what I saw. So I don't know, man. It's really bizarre. Why are we so interested in this now? Why is this being brought up now? Well, it's interesting at the same time they're talking about 31 Atlas, Muamua, you know, and rocks coming towards the Earth in the next couple of years. So maybe where they're warning us about this defense system that's around the Earth that was built 100,000 years ago, maybe. Maybe it's some ancient, maybe the creators built it around the Earth. And it's not only the firmament. People may think it's the firmament, but it could just be a shield that protects us from, hell, maybe even big rocks. I mean, if you think 65 million years ago was the last time there was a rock that destroyed the planet, pretty much. Well, 12,500 years ago, we know what happened. Some sort of event took place. But it wasn't planetary like the dinosaurs. It didn't destroy everything and 95% of the species. Pretty interesting.
About this, there are lines of potentially over 100,000 objects that are specular. They have flat, reflective, mirror-like surfaces, which suggests technology or artificial construction. They are not human. They are a technology, potentially. They are artificial, potentially. The implications of this are enormous.
Hold on, my peeps. They're not human. That's a huge statement.
Human. They are surfaces, which suggests technology or artificial construction. They are not human.
Is that what he means? They're not human, or they're not made by humans? I think he means they're not made by humans. Okay. They're not made by humans is what he probably meant, because that makes sense. I don't think they have people out there like, yeah, we're not humans. We're glockoids. We just look similar, but we're not humans. And they're just sitting out there stuck. It's not the glockoids. All right. So they're not human, made by humans. Go.
They are a technology, potentially. They are artificial, potentially.
They are a technology, potentially, and they are artificial. What does that mean? What does that mean? They're artificial. I don't get it. I thought I did. They're artificial.
Artificial construction. They are not human. They are a technology, potentially. They are artificial, potentially. The implications of this are enormous.
The implications are, it would be the biggest news story since 9/11, World War II. I mean, come on. I mean, to find out there's something that's around the Earth, that would bring up a lot of questions. Well, how did we get to the moon? How are we launching all of these objects, Voyager 1 and 2? How are we going to Mars and all that? Are you opening a door? Is there a door that you know about that we can get through? How do you know? Where do you go? It's so weird. It's just weird. Like, you almost have to say, it's so weird, it's probably true. And I've always said this. The world is more weird than not weird. It's more paranormal than normal.
It is potentially a disclosure moment.
Yep. Yeah, I'd have to agree. It could be a disclosure moment. Who made it? This is equal to finding in the movie Alien, when they find the alien spaceship, right? Nostromo. Yeah. They were just what were they? They were in space picking up garbage, something like that. And they came across a distress signal and find this alien technology that is set out on destroying everyone and everything in its path. And then we come to find out that it doesn't like us at all and wants to take us out, kill us. Why? Why do you hate us so much? Remember? Why do you hate us? What did we do to you? She says, we don't like your kind. You're small and weak. So, yeah, we could be on that same plane of disclosures, really. See, that's how I think disclosure should happen. We find some sort of ancient city, maybe under the Sphinx, right? Why do they have to hide all that shit? Maybe under Antarctica ice, maybe on the moon, maybe on Mars. Why do we keep going to Mars over and over? You know why.
I don't think it's possible to not get excited about what Dr. Villarol has discovered. It's a really interesting bit of science. She's obviously very nervously waiting for peer review at the moment. There's always in science the possibility of a plausible explanation, but we're very much looking forward to talking to her about it, and I'm happy to say that Reality Check will be interviewing her at the first available opportunity.
Okay. That was a good one. That was a good report. Not bad. You know, you got to give credit where credit is due. That was a good one. So interesting to me, though, you know? It's so amazing. And there, it just seems like, you know, the world is just like oblivious to what's happening. If this would have happened 20 years ago, it would be getting more news coverage, I think, than, I mean, because the internet was kind of still new, right? Still in its infancy. These stories that we have now, people would have jumped out of windows back then thinking it's the end. I mean, that's how much we've come forward in the discussion. But we're still without evidence. Who cares? We have if you found out 20 years ago, like if you knew 20 years ago there was going to be hearings and, 15 years, 17 years, would you be like, oh, that's great, they must be showing evidence? Nope. If you go back in time and talk to yourself and tell you, like if I went back and talked to me and I said, guess what? They had hearings, UFO hearings finally. Did they show evidence? No. What? No, they still just telling the same story. We have intelligent stuff. We have, they won't say alien pilots. They call them pilots, and they're NHI. NHI. Yeah, non-human intelligence. Oh, please. I know. That's why I came back to tell you, don't get your hopes up. We're still in phase 1. The evidence hasn't been brought out. What does that tell you? Now you better get back to your time and get to work. I guess I'll just be doing this for the next 20 years for nothing. No. It'll be for something. We're changing history right now by talking about it. Just go. I don't even want to look at me anymore. Just get out. But no but. You brought me bad news. All right, next story. Now there's all the talk about spheres. What about the triangles? Everybody forgot about the triangles. Everybody but this guy. There are triangles hovering about the size of a Prius and glowing orbs. Aero director John Kozlowski confirms triangle and orb UFOs in new interview. Word? Oh, this is from today. All right. Let's take a look. From Red Panda Koala on X. There are triangles hovering about the size of a penis. Prius.
As an example of a couple of those cases that merit further analysis that are helping us refine our hypotheses, there are
people who say hypotheses. Asshole. Why did I know he was going to say hypotheses? It's a hypothesis. It's SIS, not SES. It's not SESE. All right, I know. I'm being a grump.
Us refine our hypotheses. There are a few triangles that have been seen by local law enforcement.
These are glowing triangles in the sky.
In this case, very black
Volume
triangle, triangular prism. So it looks like a pie slice, hovering about the size of a Prius, about 40 to 60 meters away. So as the officer was driving up to investigate underneath a glowing orb, which I'll get to those in a second.
This isn't it.
I am so afraid right now. Are we? I want a bunker. Can I get a bunker for Christmas?
I'm worried enough about the damn triangle. No, he's saying it's below Okay. All right. Now I'm scared. Okay, go.
He slammed on his brakes, and this thing the size of a Prius, blacker than black, reared up 45 degrees and then shot up into the sky faster than anything he'd ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And as it was leaving his sight, it shot out red and blue fireworks, flares, so bright it lit up the inside of his vehicle. He didn't see any propulsion, no wind, didn't hear anything over the sound of his own vehicle.
And you have more than one of these sightings?
We have a few others, one from local law enforcement, some from the...
He was not able to get a picture.
No, I thought...
No dash cam, unfortunately.
How unfortunate.
Yes.
Okay,
That's our luck.
they've got chest cams.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but
You got to give all of law enforcement UAP cams.
Right.
so we're working
Very
on
disappointed
giving
here.
kit.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I am getting
You're
it.
on it. Yeah.
You're on a roll.
We got to equip.
Who cares? John Kozlowski? Who cares? He's talking about shit with no evidence to back it up. He actually believes these stories. Well, they seem very credible. We vetted these people. We did background checks. Yeah, I know what vetting is. Same thing as a background check. You don't have to repeat it. But, we didn't see any errors in their story. Oh my God, the story itself is just that, a story. When we're talking about UFOs and aliens, the paranormal, if you really want to wow people nowadays with your story, bring the evidence forward. Without the evidence, it's just a story. Rustic, hey, goof on. Any affordable drone recommendations? Yes. I thought about this. Now, I'm a little biased because DJI makes the best drones. So, even if I didn't know, the best drone for your money right now is the DJI Mini 4. I think it's 600. It's under 1,000. But I would recommend getting, for an extra 150, you can get 2 extra batteries and all the gear, extra blades, extra propellers, whatever, extra lens, different lenses for the camera. So anywhere between, what'd I say? 700? About 800, probably. And that's not affordable. I get it. But what you get is what you pay for. Now, if you want an affordable drone, that's the one. Or get this. Don't get the 4. Get the 3. It'll be 150, 200 less for $399, $299 sometimes you see them. Then you can get the extra batteries. I don't know how much you want to spend, but if you want to spend $500, there you go. Any other drone is using Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. The DJI uses 22 satellites specifically designed for the drones. So when you lose the signal, the drone will come back to you. If you lose power on your remote, the drone will come back to you. It's got smart battery technology and shit. It's really good. Anyway, that's my drone recommendation of the night. All right, let's get back to work. So John Koslowski's not talking about anything with evidence. No.
Folks, you're absolutely right.
I am so disappointed here.
Yeah. Yeah. So there have been cases, triangles. There have been cases of large orbs seen hovering a few
Why
hundred
didn't
feet.
the officer turn on their forward dash cam?
In this case, he slammed on his brakes. It happened almost instantaneously, and he was terrified. He didn't know what was happening.
He knew enough to notice it and respond by putting on his brakes.
Couldn't just get the pull over, please. You couldn't do that. You can't do.
Can I explain why the officer didn't turn on? 2 reasons. Cops are idiots. They can't think for themselves. And if he was as scared as he said he was, and I understand that fear, I really do. I've had that fear, but guess what I did? I recorded it because that's what I'm used to doing. You would think a cop, of all people, seeing something as strange and as odd as a UFO that close, he would turn on the camera or get some evidence. But like I said, they're not the brightest bulbs on the tree. They're not the sharpest tool on the motor vehicle. You gotta make it so they understand. And if he was scared, God dang, I mean, geez. You know what it is? He didn't want to take his eyes off of it. That's what it comes down to. I've been in that situation. Sometimes these things happen so quickly, and you're like, you don't want to take your eyes off to look for the camera, because if you blink, you're going to miss something. And that's usually what happens, especially a UFO. You don't want to, you want to get it on camera. Now, if it was hovering, like Travis Walton style, then, you have plenty of time to get the camera. You could even whistle on the way to the camera.
Do that? I throw a gum wrapper out and I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he had enough time to think about it, put on his brakes.
Not everybody thinks the same as you, though. See, you've had time to think about this, Neil deGrasse Hole. The cop didn't have time to think. That's what these guys don't get. It happens fast.
See a triangle prism, I'm photographing it.
I know, but it's out of fear, maybe. Like people are skeptical because they don't want to confront something they don't understand.
In this case, I don't think he was skeptical. He was terrified for his life. And so he was just getting back to a safe position. That's what that was.
Did he go in reverse?
He did. 100 miles an hour backwards, while on the phone with his sergeant the whole time.
On the phone, going backwards.
Yeah.
He can't
terrified.
Stop and take a picture?
I don't think that's what your training tells you.
Give me this guy's name and badge number.
You're gonna get.
I want his badge number right now.
I'm not sure that'll go
He's
well
out.
for you.
Wait, there was a floating orb thing. Glowing, floating.
You know what bothers me about this? That they're trying to make it sound like, hey, it doesn't matter if we don't have evidence. This is a cop. As in, you can trust his word. No, you can't. They are literally stupid people. No, look, I've seen so many cops over the last 8 years talk to I've even talked to them, and you can tell them something, and then they'll ask you a question about what you just told them. They don't listen. All they do is think about what they want to tell you. You know, that's kind of like being in a conversation with somebody, like they go, hey, how's your day going? And then you say, hey, you know, it's going, and, you know, pretty good, and I took the dog, all they do is, you know those people, right? And then you go, so what do you think I should do about that? And I go, I don't know, but let me tell you what happened to me today. It's all about them. That's what I think's happened.
Orbs.
In that same region of the country, a couple law enforcement officers had seen glowing orbs a few hundred feet above the ground, a few miles away. In one of these instances,
Wait. If it's a few miles away, how do they know it was a few hundred feet above the
he
ground?
was estimating based on height above trees.
This is
and
4
power
inches
lines.
above Marty's Deli.
Yes.
That's what this sounds like.
That's exactly right.
Okay? All right.
That's exactly right.
What part of the country was this?
We'd rather not say.
Okay,
As we're
fine.
conducting our investigations, we don't want to
I am
bias the
taking a
data.
vacation. You got to tell me where, because I am not going.
Doesn't that sound made up now? What part of the country is it in? I can't tell you. Why? Why? So give us the state next to it. God. And that's John Kozlowski, right? All right. I don't know if I'm going to play this story. I've got so much to still go over with you guys. This is crazy. Okay, Corbel. So Jeremy Corbel says he's aware of current investigations into the suspicious deaths of people who worked on UFO programs who were supposed to testify. And he says, I know that as a fact. Wow. Wow. Wait a minute, guys. So, when did he find out this fact? Did he just find out? Because don't you think if he found this out a year ago, 2 years ago, a month ago, he would have said it? He would have brought it up then? This is a very strange admittance that he says he's aware of what now? Current investigations into the deaths of people who were going to go into the UFO hearings, tell their story, whistleblow, go.
I know that UFOs and the subject itself are treated above weapons of mass destruction. In fact, weapons of mass destruction departments will often engage the UAP. They'll have a portfolio of UAP-related investigation because they know these power sources are dangerous if in the wrong hands.
Right.
I know that people in government and people outside of government have had profound contact with what they believe are non-human intelligence. I know that this has been guarded as a secret to the point where there are suspicious deaths of people that worked on the programs who were supposed to testify. I know that is a fact.
Yeah.
And I know there's ongoing investigations into that. I know that UFOs and the subject itself are treated above weapons of mass destruction. In fact, weapons of mass destruction departments will often engage the UAP. They'll have a portfolio of UAP related investigation because they know these power sources are dangerous if in the wrong hands.
Right.
I know that people in government and people outside of government have had profound contact with what they believe are non-human intelligence. I know that this has been guarded as a secret to the point where there are suspicious deaths of people that worked on the programs who were
Yes.
supposed to testify. I know that is a fact.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I heard that right. Good Lord. So, when you make a comment like that, I know for a fact, he says, that people have been taken out because they were going to whistleblow about UFOs. Right. And can we have one name? One? Who? Who? I think Jeremy Corbel is speculating, but I do believe people have been taken out. Now, I don't know if they were whistleblowers for aliens and UFOs that were taken out. I'm not sure. Because Jeremy Corbell makes a big, big statement there. And if that's a true statement, look, even if one whistleblower that was going to talk about UFOs to the world, would I think that's not dangerous. I don't understand why anybody would be taken out, because we just saw whistleblowers come out recently and they're still with us. So why couldn't those same scenarios be given, and those parameters given to the other whistleblowers who were taken out? You know, you got to talk to the, what did they do? Talk to the DOD first? Who did they talk to? What were those people? I can't remember. But they had to go over everything with someone, right? And then they get it approved, and then they can go whistleblow. Yeah, you can go whistleblow. You just can't talk about aliens. What do you mean? You can't say the word alien. Some shit like that, That's why they're pilots, NHI. Nobody says aliens. Can't say aliens. Why? Why? You want to know why? I think because they're probably from here. And that wouldn't make them aliens. That would make them indigenous. That would make them, make us aliens. I don't know. Nobody knows. And I've always said this, if there's a whistleblower with evidence, I don't think they would ever make it to the whistleblower stand. So Corbell may be telling the truth. I just want a name. I would love a name. All right. This is amazing what Tucker Carlson said in this interview. This is weird. This is from the UAP Reporting Center on X. And it says Tucker Carlson claims credible insiders have told him the U.S. government is in direct contact with supernatural beings. Come on now. This stuff is unbelievable what we're hearing. How can this be happening right now? And it's not on the front page of every newspaper. It's not spoken on the beginning of every news day. This is crazy. What they're this, you got to hear this. How could this not be? If this happened 20 years ago, I'm telling you, we would be in a different place. And I don't know if it's because we've been groomed and we've heard all the same things over the years that now it's just become, a way of life, like common knowledge. UFOs now, it's just common knowledge, right? So maybe that's why this stuff is becoming easier to talk about. But does that mean we're getting closer to disclosure? I say no way. I think it's all a ruse. And I think it's an illusion that we think we're getting somewhere. But all we're doing is having more freedom to talk about it and listen to people who call themselves whistleblowers and then make up stories about rocks in space that are intelligent and can go anywhere they want because nobody else can prove anything. See, something's not right. But listen to what Tucker says. This could change the way you think about reality too.
I'm really surprised by, and I've actually stopped gathering string on, as we say in reporting, stopped gathering string in this, gathering information, because I'm satisfied that I know enough and I don't really want to know that much more. Because what I think I know is, this doesn't help me at all to know that. So that's the conclusion I've reached. I'm usually pretty curious. I've stopped being curious about this because I don't want to know anymore. But
you truly don't want to know anymore about it.
I think I know. I think I know what's up. So I can't prove it, so probably not going to articulate it, but I think I know what's up, yeah. But
can you articulate it?
Well, I think it's a really old story. I think it's a really old story. So that's what I think.
What is it?
Well, one, I'm a Christian and I am fairly sincere about it. I try to be sincere about it. More sincere than ever, for sure. But one thing that you notice about every world religion I'm familiar with, I'm interested in that topic, there are commonalities between religions. Jesus is unique, and I believe in Jesus, so I don't believe in any kind of pantheology, okay? I don't think they're all equal or anything like that. I think mine is correct. I think that. Sorry. But there are commonalities that are very striking between all world religions I'm aware of and all creation myths. And one of them, and this is of course true for Christianity, very true, is that the belief that supernatural beings take physical form. They all believe that. The Greek myths, Jesus, most famously, but that they take physical form, that they're not just like some ethereal, they're not just shadows floating around, specters, fog, that they're physical. Like they're as real as the arm of your chair.
What was it that, what was it that led you to believe
Talking to a lot of people. I got really interested in it, and since that is my job, that's literally my job, is to call people and see them and have dinner with them and talk to them. And that's what I've done my whole life. So it's like that's just natural for me. It's not a hobby. It's my profession. I hate to use the word reporting because it's been so discredited by the liars. Oh, we've done a lot of reporting. Here at NBC News, we've done a lot of reporting. Fucking liar. You talk to some flack at CIA who told you a bunch of lies, which you're now repeating to me and my kids. So shut up. You've been doing reporting. I hate to use the word reporting, but just like satisfying your curiosity by trying to identify who might know, talking to a bunch of people about it, assessing who's telling the truth. Maybe they're wrong anyway, but you can kind of feel whether someone's telling the truth. And there are ways to know, or to get closer to knowing whether someone's telling the truth. And just talk to a lot of people. And I've done that because I got really interested in it, sort of by accident. I never thought I'd be interested in this at all. And so I talked to a lot of people, and I was really shocked by what credible people told me. They could all be wrong, of course. I can't prove it.
Yeah.
But I became completely satisfied, I'll say that they were not lying and that they were right or in the vicinity of right. And so if everybody you talk to is saying, oh, this is really upsetting, I don't know what this means, but here's what I know, here's what I heard someone say, I was in a meeting, or here's what, what I mean? It was that kind of stuff. And I didn't talk to anybody in the UFO community. I'm not even sure what that is. I know I don't trust I don't trust anybody, actually. You know what I mean? Like, it's not my job to trust people, so it's my job to assess whether what they're saying is right or not. So I talked to people who I thought had firsthand knowledge, and I talked to a number of them. And then I was like, whoa, I'm out. Because I don't need to go farther than that. I mean, is this stuff, these phenomena, which are clearly, obviously real, I mean, there's no debate about that. There's a lot of shit that people can't explain in the sky and underwater. We know that. Fact. So the debate is this government technology? Is it from outer space, or is it some spiritual realm here? I've already told you my view of it. But what I find so interesting, we know the government's lied about it. They're lying about it now. That's a fact. There's no way around it. They've absolutely lied about it in very elaborate ways. I'm really struck. Here's my current thinking on it. The main effort that the US government has put into its disinformation, its lying on this topic, has been not to mislead you on the technology. Like, they're not telling me they don't have anti-gravity technology. It sounds from watching your podcast that they do, which I believe. No problem believing that. Their main interest is in convincing you that the supernatural is not real.
That is just amazing to me. To convince us that the supernatural is not real. Wow. How? I mean, every time you turn on the TV, there's a new UFO or paranormal show on, right? Yeah, it's weird that he would say such a thing. They're the most popular video, like they're extremely popular. UFOs and ghosts and all that stuff, because we still don't have the answers we're looking for. And it seems like the evidence is getting a little better. Maybe because our phones are getting better too, but I don't know. Everything's kind of looking almost too good to be true, but you can tell the difference sometimes. I believe in it. I believe there's something that is sharing this reality with us. I do believe that. You know, and speaking of the topic of consciousness, because it was brought up in the chat room, I kind of think I always talk about consciousness. I somehow weave it in and out of the conversation of when we talk about psychics or what are those people? They can see other places. You know, what are they called? Virtual realityists. What are those people called? But I remember Tucker was even talking about how he found out that we don't really have free will. We have the illusion of free will. So now I'm really wondering, are we living in a reality of reality, or are we living in a copy of a reality in some sort of matrix reality? It's really weird. And I'm not so sure anything's real. You ever go outside and just look at everything around you, just look at it for a minute? And I'm not talking about stopping and smelling the roses. I'm talking about stopping and just look at it. Just look at the earth. I mean, just go on Google Maps maybe, I don't know. Just look at the perfect design I think it is for us to be here. But it wasn't always like that. Because, you know, you go back 65 million years ago, and there were dinosaurs here. I always want to know what happened before the dinosaurs. I guess the earth was too hot. It was too toxic for a lot of creatures to be here. I don't like the design that I don't like the way scientists tell us how the earth formed. I don't buy it. There's something wrong with it. I don't know. For me, even when I was a kid, I said, that just doesn't sound right. You know how they were talking where all the water came from? Oh, they came from all the asteroids and comets. Do you know how many would have to hit the earth? Jesus, there isn't enough. It would be a ridiculous amount. Where'd all that water come from? And there's also water under the surface of the earth. Like they're talking about oceans of water. It's like a whole other world inside our world. So then you have to think, well, maybe there's a hollowed earth. Oh, it just goes on forever. When does it stop? Then you got to go Richard Byrd. Remember, he went to the icy region, and what did he see? UFOs with Nazis, swastikas on the side, right? They were overwhelmed. I mean, that guy's probably not telling the truth. Who knows? Is he? It sounds real to me. Jeff Garvey throwing it down. Rich, I think Scambian's voice is getting worse. I don't even listen. I think it'd probably sound like, hey, man. Oh, no, probably, Hey, man. I don't care. You know, he's doing his thing. He's got his piece of the puzzle to figure out over there. Jeff Garvey, thank you very much for throwing down a Finsky. Mucho gusto, Generoso, a continuing supporter. Remote viewing of Goof On. Thank you. There it is. Thank you, Metalhead. Remote viewing. Yeah. What was I saying? Tucker? No, I don't have a man crush on Tucker. Yeah. No, I like Tucker's thought process, though. He's a smart guy. Thanks, Jeff Garvey. He's a smart guy.
And if you watch, and there are people in the media who specialize in spreading these lies on behalf of the government. I'm not going to name anybody, but like some of them work at the New York Times. Once you realize what the point of the exercise is, it's crazy. And I hope you'll assess all the fact-checking and the skepticism on UAPs through this lens. The main thing they want you to believe is the supernatural is not real.
Is there a specific...
But why? Why? And I still don't understand how they are telling us they don't want us to think it's real. Is it just by denial? Because UFOs is totally... Is that paranormal? Are UFOs paranormal? That is interesting. I don't know if they are. But they are, right? UFOs have to be. Well, what qualifies as being that?
reason or a handful of reasons, or is this a hunch? Did you believe that they're working with the supernatural realm? Or have a relationship?
Well, I can't prove that. I mean, I'm suggesting that. I'm not saying it because I can't prove it, but I'm suggesting it. And if you're asking whether I believe it, the answer is yes. But I believe that for two reasons. One, because I've told that directly by a couple of people who I think seem knowledgeable. And I attach some weight to that, though not conclusive weight. I don't know. Right? I don't know. I wasn't there.
So if they don't want us to know the truth about the paranormal, then that means it's deeper than what we know. I don't know what to tell you guys. We're never going to believe in the same things. And that's okay, because there's no way you and I or anybody else are going to believe the same thing every single time. They keep changing it, throwing new terms out, and, plasmic, and, all sorts of weird new things they're trying to come up with to make it seem new. But we're not seeing anything new. We're still seeing apparitions in videos. I believe that a lot of them are real. I don't think everybody's faking it. I think there's some real shit. I've seen it, so I know it. You guys have been witness to it here in my own show. I even had to tie up the cabinets underneath the sink because they were opening and closing, right? And then I had to put the camera in the room because the apparition was opening and closing my door. Then I went across the street when I put the camera in there so I couldn't catch her. But then I did that one day. Well, how do you explain all that? It's very strange. And hearing the rustling of feet on the floor in my kitchen, no. There's something in this reality with us. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what I was saying the other day. Was it yesterday's show? The truth is what you experience. And I can't tell you you're not telling me the truth. I won't do it anymore unless it's obvious. But I'm not going to sit here and call people liars anymore. Because, look, people are seeing weird shit. But if it's obvious and you have video evidence that I can debunk, I'm going to call you out on it. But Dorothy has a story. I have stories. We all have stories. Who am I to tell you didn't have that experience? And that's what I think is going on. I think it's done this way on purpose. I think it's not just the universe that's keeping us in check. I think there's a logical explanation to why we exist and what made us. We're here for a reason. And I don't know what the reason is, but it's good enough to give us 75 to 80 years to figure it out. And you know what it is? I think I figured it out. Life is what you make of it. Your reality is the truth. And you can make the truth whatever you want it to be. Even if you're wrong, it's your truth. If you saw something and you didn't get it on video, I'll believe you. But if you're going to tell me something hokey, I'd be like, hey, come on. This is a very strange time. There are so many people talking about so many things. I'm confused. So I've never seen it like this. You got it all. Think about this. You have the remote viewing. You have possessions. You have poltergeists. You have apparitions. You have photobombs. You have mists, right? You have balls of light. Okay, I'm talking about paranormal, not UFO, but you got all this, and I'm not even near done. When, mirrors that can take you into other dimensions, what about that stuff? We got the Ouija board. You got dolls that can, any object can be possessed, we learned, right? And then we see these apparitions. They at 1 o'clock every day, you can see, there goes Emily around the tree, around, she's gone. And she'll be back tomorrow. We see her every day at that time. How cool. And there's places where people got evidence like that. So what is that? What is that? Why does that happen? Well, it was a strong memory and it imprinted. Why? Why though? Why? Why would it imprint? Why don't we see bombs falling out of the sky? Well, that's extremely tense. Why don't we see, I know you go to the Revolutionary War, those places, you go Savannah, Georgia, you go to all those places where they had the wars and all that shit, right? And you hear cannons going off, you hear horses walking by and nothing's there. Yeah, all that stuff imprinted there. Why don't we see that on 9/11 in New York City? Why don't we hear a building crashing down to the ground? Why don't we hear a plane hitting the building, the sonic poof, from that sonic boom from that plane, both of them? Why don't we see any of that? How come those people just aren't walking around New York City? The Pentagon. Well, the Pentagon wasn't really a commercial aircraft. We all know that now. Vern Dude. Oh, well, thank you. I'm just talking, but thank you very much, Vern Dude. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, we're just spitballing, but yeah, thank you very much. I've always been told I've got a weird way of thinking. I don't think so. See? No, I really don't think that I have a weird way of thinking. I think other people are weird that they don't see things the way I see them. And I always used to say that when I'd be at back of the school bus and I'd be saying shit and people are like, where do you come up with this stuff? I'm like, how do you not think of it? So thank you for noticing. Vern Dude, appreciate it, bro. Continuing supporter of GoofOn. Now, I would love to see if I could be regressed. I don't think I can be hypnotized, though. I'm one of those people. Okay, let's move a little. Okay, Jim Semivan. Let me see what I have here. Okay. All right, I got to talk about this. So former CIA officer Jim Semivan told the Soul Foundation's Peter Skafish that what the US government knows about UFOs is indigestible. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, that's true. I believe that. Oh, well, let's listen to this. Oh, I didn't know there was this video. I thought it was I'd have to read. Oh, this is much better. Okay. 3, 2. Holy Moses, hold on. Hey, Raging. Wow, I saw the yellow and I had to stop. Raging Against Machine. Round and round and go. Where are... Ah. It's coming. I hear your request, sir. And it's coming soon. Thank you for the $10. Well, thank you very much for helping out, peeps. I appreciate that. Thanks, Raging. Appreciate you being here, too. All right. Well, let's play the video here. This is a good one, I think. I don't know. But it's from Skywatch Signal on X. Here we go.
What's the most striking or astonishing statement you've heard from someone that, let's say, you believed had been working on UAP for a long time in classified environments, where they just kind of said, hey, look, Jim, like, this is what we know, or this is what it is, or I want you to think about it in the following way. You know, something that just stopped you in your tracks, or just kind of, you know, gave you pause and you thought, oh, okay, that feels true. And also I feel that I better listen to that, take that in, and use it to orient myself.
Good question.
There were probably 2 statements, and I won't ascribe them to anybody. One was regarding my own experience, and a person saying to me, there might have been a more sinister element associated with it. And he didn't explain anymore, but I knew exactly what he was saying, and that there might have been involvement, or at least a knowledge of what happened, you know, by other people in the government. So that was one thing that sort of threw me. And again, I don't know what to make of it. And the other thing was probably...
Well, but let's pause and make sure people understand what that means. So you're saying that, you know, you had someone in, you know, presumably the intelligence community to say to you, okay, look, when things like this happen, sometimes people do follow up and look at the people who are having the experiences, something like that.
No.
Oh,
okay. This was more of a, when he said the word...
Wait, what did he just repeat?
When things like this happen, sometimes people do follow up and look at the people who are having the experiences, something like that.
No.
Oh,
Now, this was more of a, when he said the word sinister, it sort of, it touched a nerve, because I had been reading. I mean, again, I don't want to get into this because it gets into, it gets into areas that I am not very well, read on, and I'm not sure that. I think it would cloud. I don't even know why I brought it up. It probably is clouds the water, and I mean, maybe. But let me go back to something somebody else said to me once that might be maybe more illustrative. Is the person said that when we were talking about what the government may or may not know, and the person basically said, well. What they know is indigestible, and I had mentioned this before in a podcast or two, and I knew automatically what that was, and once again it's and I had a briefing by actually 4 people, but 3 of them whom you know, but I'm not going to name their names. And when they talked to me about, they were talking to me about UAP in particular, although that came up,
You guys know what indigestible means, right? It's impossible to digest. In this case, impossible to believe. because it's so unbelievable. That's what I've always heard. And yeah, and not only that, even if we saw the technology, we would think it's magic, which is interesting. I've also heard if we ever saw what the aliens looked like, we would have wished we didn't. They're supposed to be really disgusting. See, I don't like it when someone tells me what's going to make me feel a certain way because they felt a certain way. I know people who cry over a camera pointing in their direction from 100 feet away. What do you think an alien is going to do to these people? Make them flip their lids. These people have issues, and then you throw an alien on top of the issues. Now you got alien issues. We don't know anything about how to deal with alien issues. Do you? God dang it. I don't. I don't know. There are no aliens. Thanks, Ragin. There are no aliens. I know, Jeff, I used to. I know about Greek mythology, sure do. Freaking A, bro. It could throw you, it could make your head spin. Talk about alternate realities. When you get into that stuff, you almost believe it. It's believable, some of it.
Some aspects of it, but they were talking to me about.
Now, is it me or is Jim Semivan sound like he's trying to answer every question without actually giving an answer? He hems and haws for like seconds. And basically what we're doing, and oh my God, just speak.
Phenomena, attendant phenomena, corollary phenomena that were associated that had a more relation to psychic stuff, right? And and what have you. That not only our government was involved in, but what foreign governments were doing. And it's surprising. You read a book, on something, and you say, well, okay, that's fascinating, but you have that veil there, right? It's just a book. The guy isn't. The government isn't saying this is true, but then. You get 3 people that have more clearances than you do. And trust me, I had them all at the time. All.
Did you see what I just saw when he said that? What is his head doing?
The government isn't saying this is true, but then you get 3 people that have more clearances than you do. And trust me, I had them all at the time. All.
Shakes his head no.
I had them all at the time. Do. And trust me, I had them all at the time. You do. And trust me, I had them all at the time.
Come on. If he was telling the truth, he would have went, I had them all at the time. Right? Because when you tell the truth, your head follows you. It always does. The head knows what the mind and the body's going to do. No, I don't know what the hell I'm saying there, but you know what I mean. He knows he's lying. He knows.
You do. And trust me, I had them all at the time.
And anytime somebody starts a sentence with trust me, don't. Because that's what he just did. Trust me.
And trust me, I had them all at the time.
Trust me, I had them all at the time. No, you didn't. You lying prick.
Time. All. And except for code words, that I didn't need to know or something like that.
There's his little justification for lying. Because he just lied. Because I had them all. Well, except for. Do you see how the head follows the truth? Listen to what just happened.
All. And except for code words, that.
So he didn't have them all. And that's why his head went like this. Guys, I can't tell you how important body language is if I can't prove it to you like I just did. I just proved to you, without a shadow of a doubt, the head follows the truth. We just saw, I'm going to show you the sequence. This is one of the best sequences I've seen in a long time of how people lie and what it looks like.
The book, the guy isn't, the government isn't saying this is true, but then you get 3 people that have more clearances than you do. And trust me, I had them all.
Trust me, I had them all. Shakes his head no. Now watch. Listen.
The time. All.
And he said it again. He doubled down. All.
And trust me, I had them all at the time.
Watch.
All.
And he still shook his head no. All.
And except for code words.
Except for code words and names or some. So he didn't have them all. I can't prove it to you. This is the best evidence I've seen in a long time that's how I can prove it to you, that it's amazing what the head knows.
But then you get 3 people that have more clearances than you do. And trust me, I had them all at the time. All. And except for code words,
See how his head went yes, except for code words? Guys, this is amazing. Because Jim Semivan's an easy read. Watch.
And except for code words,
See his head go yes? Did you see the micro head shake?
All. And except for code words,
there it is.
that I didn't need to know or something like that. And except for code words, that I didn't
There it is. 2 shakes.
And except for code words, that I didn't.
2 shakes.
And except for code words, that I didn't need to know.
Except for code words.
And except for code words, that I didn't need to know.
See it? Beautiful. This is unbelievable. Without a doubt, smoking gun evidence. This motherfucker just lied, and we just proved it. But it wasn't a significant lie, was it? He said he had access to all except for names and numbers. The most important thing of all. Wow, that was fun. I can't believe it was that easy what a great thing.
Or something like that. And they come in and they tell you.
And Jim Semivan is a filler. He talks and fills in with a lot of me, me, I, and it, that's what he does. If you listen to him talk, in between every 5 to 7 words, he does that. It's weird. And I think it's because he's got to lie. And he doesn't get out there enough. Maybe he feels comfortable with this questioning. I'm not sure, but this is bad. He's a filler in this whole thing. That's all he does is fill in dead space.
Oh, yeah. Sort of matter-of-factly sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. When we did this,
Yeah.
Thing of this national lab and this happened and oh, by the way, we saw you
4 we's we
while this was going on, and we have all this data
and
and we have
the
sensor data to prove it, and they're going on and on and on, and not just with one topic. They're talking probably half a dozen different topics. So the veil then just drops.
Jim Semivan, one of the biggest douchebags in ufology, in my opinion. I mean that. No, I really do. One of the biggest douchebags you'll ever see. Honestly, that guy's so full of shit. And he's responsible for a lot of the narrative that we see on, in the UFO community, unfortunately, coming. I have so much I could talk about. Corbel. All right. Did I already do? No, I didn't do this. Corbel says intel agencies are manipulating people with the 2027 alien invasion narrative. Intel agencies are manipulating people. Intel agencies. What is that? What is an intel agency? Oh. It's a government body that gathers, analyzes, and disseminates information relevant to national security and foreign policy. So let's see what Jeremy Corbel has to say about this intelligence agency.
An undercurrent of intelligence agency individuals trying to, quote, shape the emerging UAP narrative, who have been using this idea of a craft coming to Earth to employ individuals to harness their mics, their microphones, and their voices and their commitment. And that's what I was warning people about. That was nonsense. That is a re-emerging narrative that will continue to come. So this might be
Hold on a second. A re-emerging narrative. First time I've ever heard it in 21 years. First time. How is this re-emerging? 21 years I've never heard this before. Sorry, hold on. Never. I've heard there's the Galactic Federation sitting out by Saturn or something, just waiting for us to evolve into the psychopaths that they want us, or psychics they want us to be. I've heard that story. I've heard the rings of Saturn are built by a UFO that's chilling out there. I've heard that one. But I've never heard of a UFO slowly making its way towards Earth. It's never happened. People may have mentioned it in their UFO stories, or people who have been abducted said, yes, and they have a big spaceship that's heading towards Earth and it'll be there in 2035. Like, who knows, whatever. I don't know if that's I've never heard it. So it's not a re-emerging narrative, Jeremy. Absolutely, he's already lying. It doesn't make sense. Why is Jeremy Corbel making this up?
Employ individuals to harness their mics, their microphones, and their voices and their commitment. And that's
Wait, I got to start this over. What the hell did he just say?
There is an undercurrent of intelligence agency individuals trying to, quote, shape the emerging UAP narrative, who have been using this idea of a craft coming to Earth to employ individuals to harness their mics, their microphones, and their voices and their commitment. And that's what I was warning people about.
So he's saying that this narrative is being brought up so people like me and others who want to be on a microphone will get on their microphone and speak about the alien UFO or whatever coming to Earth. That's what he's saying. That's how I comprehended it. So he thinks the government, whoever made this narrative, wants people to pick up the microphone and repeat what they're saying. So what? But that's not what's happening. That's not at all what's happening. That's not the narrative. There's no narrative. He's making it up. What a liar. That's not a narrative. It's not even close to one. I can't believe he's lying like this. I'm talking about him saying that this is a re-emerging topic, which it's not. It's the first time I've ever heard aliens come into Earth by a big UFO that's slowly heading here. Never heard that before. If I did, I would have talked about it. I would have remembered that. And I looked it up. I don't have anything anywhere. Anyway, I forgot what else I was going to say. I'm so angry at this guy.
That was nonsense. That is a re-emerging narrative that will continue to come. So this might be, in a way, this might be a sort of symptom of what I was warning people about. But it's not directly what I was saying. I mean, this thing's going to come by Earth the closest, I think, November 16th or something. I don't know for sure, but it's not 2027. And also, by the way, when I said, I never actually said the words in the show 2027. There was a range that people were kind of spreading within media and UFO industry, and that was between 2027 and 2036. Leave yourself a big ass window if you're telling lies to people. That's what you do.
I always heard it was 2036. That there was a big asteroid coming this way, 2036, right? That's what I heard, not a UFO.
So, look, if I'm wrong, we're going to be invaded, and it doesn't matter anyway. However, I just want to be really clear, which is that there is this undercurrent from intelligence agencies, and I absolutely wanted to warn people that I thought it was bullshit. I still think it's bullshit, and I think it's a way to harness people's attention, and I think it's diabolical.
No. I know, we should. I have his phone number. I may do that again. I may call Corbel again. That's a ridiculous statement he just made. Like, I've never heard of that before. I've never heard of that as a narrative, that there's a big ship coming this way, slowly. Usually it's like, hey, it's going to be here in 2 days. This thing's going 1,000,000 miles an hour. Well, that's it for tonight. That's it. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. We had a couple of instances where we had technical difficulties. The show wouldn't go live, and it took 3 tries for us to get going. So thanks for coming back if you left and were frustrated as I was. But appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you, moderators and super chatters, newcomers and veterans, for making this a great night. And tomorrow night, we go vertical. It's Wednesday. We go once a week, we go vertical, and it's Vertical Wednesday. So we'll do that tomorrow. It's the only way I can get subs. I want to get to 90,000. All right, thank you guys. And look, if you ain't looking up, you ain't looking out for ufology. Oh, truthology for ufology. We do it for you. Wow, we do. We do it all for you. Remember that song? And I'll do it all for you. Who was that? Goof on hits like a freight train. All right, everybody. Hey, thank you very much. You guys be safe. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Vertical. Let's go. Giddy up. Alien bless. Go.
Glass and shattered dreams. Who's to blame? Who's the one?